A small beginning. Life has a strange way of writing stories that feel more dramatic than any movie. This one is about a little girl, an abandoned German shepherd no one wanted, and a miracle that left an entire town speechless. It all started in a small countryside town where every week, a big open market was held. People came from villages around to buy and sell goats, chickens, cows, and sometimes even unwanted dogs. The air was filled with voices bargaining, animals crying, and the smell of dust and sweat. That afternoon, 12-year-old Emily walked beside her grandfather. She was not there to buy anything. Her grandfather had some errands. For her, the market was always fascinating. She loved animals, and she always noticed things others ignored. As she walked past the stalls, something caught her eye. What everyone ignored. In the corner, under the blazing sun, sat a rusty old cage. Inside it lay a German shepherd. His condition was heartbreaking. His fur was dirty, covered with dried blood and dust. His ribs poked through his thin body. His left leg looked weak and injured, and he could barely stand. People walking by glanced at him and moved on. To them, he was worthless. The seller shouted impatiently, "Who wants this? He's useless, injured, sick, can't even walk properly. $5, that's it. Otherwise, tomorrow I'll send him to the pound." Some men laughed. $5. He isn't worth a single coin. Look at him. He'll be dead in a week. But Emily didn't laugh. She froze, staring at the dog. His body looked broken, but his eyes were different. Golden brown, deep, filled with silent pain, but also a spark. A spark that said, "I want to live." She tugged at her grandfather's sleeve. "Grandpa, can we take him? Please, just look at him. He needs us." Her grandfather frowned. Money was tight. $5 wasn't much, but for them it was enough to buy food. Spending it on a half-dead dog. It didn't make sense. But when he looked down at Emily, her eyes were wet, her voice trembling, his heart softened. With a sigh he said, "All right, Emily, if you promise to take care of him, we'll take him home." Emily's face lit up with joy. $5 changed hands. The dog, once unwanted, finally had a new chance at life. A new name, a new life. The first thing Emily did was give him a name. "You'll be Shadow," she whispered, stroking his bony head. "Because you'll always stay with me like a shadow." That first night was tough. Shadow refused to eat. He lay on the porch, weak, barely breathing. Everyone thought he wouldn't survive till morning. But Emily refused to give up. She sat beside him for hours, whispering, "You're safe now. I believe in you. Please, fight." Every day she cared for him, washing his wounds with warm water, giving him small pieces of chicken, wrapping his leg with cloth. At first, Shadow didn't move. Then, slowly, he wagged his tail. A few days later, he licked her hand. By the 7th day, Shadow stood up on his own. He was still weak, his ribs still visible, but his eyes had changed. They were brighter, filled with trust and loyalty. Emily's parents often warned her, "Don't get too attached, Emily. He may not live long." But Emily would only smile, hug Shadow tightly, and say, "He will live. He's stronger than you think." Nobody knew then how true her words would become. The day of fire. Exactly 1 week later, disaster struck. It was a calm morning. Birds sang in the trees. Emily was outside, playing with Shadow, when suddenly she heard her mother scream from inside the house. "Fire! Fire in the kitchen!" Panic spread instantly. Flames licked the curtains. Thick smoke filled the small wooden house. Emily's father rushed to fetch water. Her mother tried to drag furniture outside. Neighbors gathered, shouting, trying to help. But in the chaos, one horrifying truth became clear. Emily's baby brother, Tommy, only 2 years old, was still inside. Emily's mother screamed in terror. "Tommy, my baby is still in the crib." Her father tried to run in, but thick smoke forced him back. Flames had already blocked the hallway. Neighbors pulled him away, shouting, "It's too dangerous. No one can go inside now, it's too late." Emily cried, helpless, "My brother. Somebody please save him." And that's when it happened. The impossible moment. Before anyone could stop him, Shadow bolted forward. The injured dog, still limping, still weak, dashed straight into the burning house. "Shadow, no!" Emily screamed. Everyone froze in shock. This was the same dog they had all laughed at. A dog worth only $5, a dog that was supposed to die in a week. And yet, he had chosen to face fire. Seconds passed like hours. The smoke grew darker. People waited, breathless, fearing the worst. Then, through the flames, a shape emerged. It was Shadow. His fur was singed, his paws burned, but in his jaws, carefully held, was baby Tommy, crying but alive. The crowd gasped. Emily's mother ran forward, grabbing her baby, sobbing hysterically. Emily fell to her knees and wrapped her arms around Shadow, tears streaming down her face. "You did it, Shadow. You saved him. You're our hero." The impossible had happened. From worthless to priceless. The news spread quickly. By the next morning, the whole town was talking about the dog who had risked his life for a child. Reporters came. Newspapers printed his story. Neighbors visited with food and medicine. The local vet treated Shadow's burns and wounds for free, touched by his bravery. Emily's grandfather, who once thought buying him was foolish, patted Shadow's head with tears in his eyes. "You're worth more than gold, boy. Forgive me for ever doubting you." Shadow, despite his pain, wagged his tail proudly. A bond that could not be broken. From that day on, Shadow never left Emily's side. When she went to school, he waited patiently at the gate until she returned. When she slept at night, he lay outside her room, keeping watch. He followed her everywhere, like a true shadow. Emily would often whisper to him, "They threw you away, Shadow. They said you were worthless. But you proved them wrong. You saved us all." And Shadow, with his gentle eyes, seemed to answer, "I will always protect you." Lessons from Shadow. Shadow's story became more than just a tale about a dog. It became a lesson for everyone. Sometimes, the world judges too quickly. It labels the weak as worthless, the broken as useless. But Shadow proved that the most unexpected souls can perform the greatest miracles. All he needed was a little kindness, a little love, and he gave back more than anyone could imagine. Emily had spent only $5. In return, Shadow had given her family a priceless gift, her brother's life. Epilogue. Years later, Emily grew up and often told her children the story of Shadow. By then, Shadow had grown old, his muzzle gray, his steps slower. But his loyalty never faded. When he finally passed away peacefully, the whole family cried. But Emily held on to one truth: heroes never really die. They live forever in the hearts they touched. Every time she looked at her brother Tommy, healthy, alive, laughing, she remembered that day. The day a weak, injured, $5 dog walked into fire and came out a hero. And sometimes, at night, when the wind was soft, Emily swore she could still hear the sound of paws following her. Her shadow, her hero, who once did the impossible.